Hello, Valley family. How are you today? It's Wednesday, April 28th, and I'm glad to spend a few minutes with you today. Hey, let me ask you a question. Have you ever broken a bone? Have you ever broken a bone that had to be like set in a cast? I never have, thankfully. I've had other minor injuries, but I've never broken a bone. But I've had friends who have. And if you break your leg and you have to have your leg in a cast and you can't walk on it for a while, um, I know from watching my friends recover from those injuries that something happens to your muscles while you're not using the broken leg. Your muscles get weak and they atrophy from not being used. And when the cast comes off, the bone is set and fixed, but the muscles that are around it haven't been getting any use. And so they have to be strengthened by being used and being exercised once again. I wonder if during this time of pandemic when we haven't been able to meet together, if um, a version of that hasn't happened to some of us regarding, the things we were used to doing with our church family and for our church family. I wonder if our serving muscles have atrophied a little bit. There just hasn't been many opportunities to serve together. But now that we're planning on meeting together again this coming Sunday, May 2nd, for live in person worship, and that service will be streaming as well. Um, we need people who can serve with us on Sunday mornings. We're excited that people want to come and worship together, but we also want to be providing good ministry to our kids during that worship time. For our youngest kids, we need nursery care. We need some child care and supervision for our preschool kids through the duration of the whole hour long service. And then for our older kids, kindergarten through grade 5, they're going to be in the service with us for about half of the service, and then they're going to be dismissed to go and have their own lesson and some time together. And we need some people to serve in that way as well. And we have wonderful staff who will be working with our kids, but Sherry Burkham and Sarah Pearson can't meet these needs by themselves. They need people who will serve with them. And so, as we come out of the pandemic, it's time to, as that cast comes off, so to speak, it's time to strengthen those muscles again. And the way to do that is by starting to exercise them, starting to use them in service once again. And so maybe you're a person who has served with us in kids ministry before. We would love to welcome you back and have you serve with us again. Maybe you're a parent of one of the kids that age and you could give us one Sunday a month. That would be tremendously helpful if you could devote one Sunday a month to taking time out of corporate worship and serving in our kids' ministry during our worship time. This is a big need. We can't do it without some people who are willing to help and serve. So I hope that you will uh, maybe consider that need and ask yourself, is that something that I could do? If a lot of us will offer a little bit of time, then the load will be shared among a bigger group, and I think that would be a tremendous way to serve our kids in our kids ministry. I don't ever like to see just a few people having to do most of the work. That's not how a church is meant to be. If we look in Ephesians chapter 4, where Paul is writing to encourage the Christians in Ephesus, he says to them that the church will grow and build itself up in love as each part does its work. So we each share the load, we each share the responsibility of passing on our faith to our children. and raising them up to know the Lord and to love the Lord. What a privilege that is. I was thinking of another story this week as well. You remember when there was a large crowd of people and they were all hungry and they were kind of out in a remote place, not near a city that had McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and all that. And the apostles, the disciples, were like, "Well, we better send these people away, Jesus, because they need something to eat." And Jesus said, "Why don't you figure out a way to give them something to eat?" And the disciples were like, "We don't have any. We don't have this much food to feed all these people." And it was a child who stepped up with his little lunch that he had, 5 loaves and 2 fish, right? And I love that gesture of thinking, you know, I don't have a lot to offer, Jesus, but here's what I do have, and I believe that you could do something with it. And so, for each of us to bring maybe the little that we feel like we could contribute and say, if this has value, you can use it. If this has value, you can use my time, you can use my energy, you can use my effort, my talent. And I know that Sherry and Sarah would be blessed to hear from some people yet this week, for this coming Sunday and the Sundays in May, so that we can feel confident that we can provide good ministry to our kids as we go forward. So thanks for listening to that appeal. It's a big deal for us as a staff team right now. We really are excited about getting back together for live in-person worship, but we can't cover all the needs by ourselves. And so you've heard kind of the different age ranges, all the way from nursery, little babies, up to elementary age kids. We have kids who have some special needs, who need some special attention and care and help. And so you could reach out to me, you could reach out to Sarah Pearson, Sherry Burkham, if you can help with any of those things. That would be really great. If you're thinking about joining us on Sunday, would you pre-register on the website valleycc.org? There's still space available. We'd love to know you're coming. We're getting everything ready, and we're excited to worship back in person this week. If you're going to be at home, we welcome you, and we're glad that you're going to be joining us online, and the service will stream just as it has been the past several months. So looking forward to being with you however you choose to join us this weekend. Have a great rest of your week. Get outside, enjoy some sunshine, some warmer temperatures, and looking forward to being with you this weekend.